Hey everybody, party in the house. Thought I'd be in the library tonight since you're doing some reading. Uh, I want to share some readings that I found. First of all, this is February, Black History Month, and I wish Black History Month to everybody, black, white, brown, whatever. I wish that to everybody. I want to read a few things to show why everybody should actually celebrate Black History Month. It's actually done a lot for this country, and they have. It's your many famous leaders of the civil rights movement promoted fair treatment for all Americans, and it it worked. It took 100 years, but it did actually work, and most of us are familiar with the beginnings of Black history in America, the terrible legacy of slavery and the Civil War, and the civil rights struggles that followed for the next 100 years. The early colonies on, Black Americans and American brothers and sisters of all colors relied on each other. Our founding principles as a guide for changing the course of the history for the better. And that has worked because over the last 150 years, we've worked together to form this perfect, diverse union. It has worked. And everybody should be proud of that, you know? It's one of the things that made this the United States of America because of people fighting for civil rights of people of all colors and people of all colors fighting for that. Celebration and recognition of the important role of Black Americans in helping shape our country. They did a lot for this country. This country may not have been for them at first because they were brought here against their will. And there's nobody alive today that I think would think that that was right. It was 400 years ago, and it's been a few hundred years fighting to abolish that. And it was abolished in the 1860s. You know, that's how we became the United States of America. It's important the role that Black people took to fight for civil rights in this country. It helped shape our country. Celebrate great history makers and world changers who fought for justice and equality for all. And they've all been successful in doing that. Hundreds of years. I mean, I don't want to sound racist, but if I was Black, I would feel proud that their ancestors fought for them to have free and the same rights as everybody else in this country. And, like I said, it took over 100 years, but they finally got them. Slavery went out in the 1860s, and systematic racism. People still have personal prejudices. Systematic racism went out in the 1960s. And they had this one guy, Peter Salem, was a slave who was freed in order to fight with the Patriots in the Revolutionary War. He fought in 2 battles. He showed his loyalty and love for America. This man was Black. His ancestors were brought here against their will. But he came to realize what a beautiful, united country this is and can be. It may have not all been united at his time, but it did come to be a united country because of people like this man. Black people should be proud of this man. Peter Salem. This other guy, James Armistead, though technically still a slave, worked as a double agent for the American Continental Army. His action helped our new nation to win our independence. He was a black man and fought for the independence of this country. I'm not the best reader, so that's about reading for tonight. But, you know, I mean, it almost seems like they're using Black History Month to punish white people, when instead they should be using Black History Month to be proud of how they've helped this country become the United States of America instead of the divided States of America. And this new administration seems to want us to be the divided States of America. And a lot of people aren't aware of it because, you know, they're busy with careers and whatever, but it's happening, you know, and I think, you know, if people could just take a half hour out of their day or even 15 minutes out of their day to find out what's going on, and be careful what news stations you listen to. Some news stations are not like really reporters of the news, they're more like propagandists. Well, you got to get it from different sources to make your own decisions. You know, I mean, they have, you know, like, they have teachers in school that are making children, this goes from like 5th grade down to preschool, walk outside and chant BLM slogans. Walk outside, walk to the school camp, you know, the school ground doing that. You know, instead, they should be teaching these kids Black history. That's it. They should teach them history instead of hatred. You know, hopefully none of you parents out there want your children to be raised as racist, which will turn into this, Marxism. It's a good book, Mark Levin, the great one. And the other questions, Candace Owens, who was also a civil rights activist in a way. And I think if people check this book out, they'll realize, you know, that there's not really too much oppression if you think about it. I mean, I can never figure out who's oppressed in today's day and age. I'm not talking about 120 years ago, 150 years ago. In today's day and age, if you feel oppressed, did you ever think maybe you may have oppressed the system? That system gives us all freedom of all colors. And all my life, I've seen people of all colors in every line of business I could think of, from restaurant owners to doctors, lawyers, cops, and everything. So we all have equal rights, you know? I don't care if you're black, gay, whatever color your skin is, or sexual desires, we all have equal rights in this country. And yes, if you learn a little bit about Black history, they are a big part to thank for us becoming the United States of America. So I'm going to go for now, but happy Black History Month to everybody of all colors, because we should all celebrate that.